friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. For today's video, we are going to be tracking all of my expenses, all of the spending that happened between Tuesday, September 7th, and Monday, September 13th. So it's our first full week of September here. We're gonna see how we did. Overall, it was not the greatest week. We had some unbudgeted expenses, unfortunately. We also did some overspending in some of our sinking funds, so we've got a sinking fund or two with a negative balance right now, which is not a good thing. The end of August, I talked a little bit about how our spending was out of control, that summer is always kind of difficult to stay on budget, and I thought that a fresh start in September would be a good thing, and yet here we are, end of the first week of September, still struggling. You guys, camping season is really getting to us. It seems like every week when we go to our campground, we have more and more money getting spent. So I really need to make sure when I'm planning for next camping season that I budget a lot more money than what I've been budgeting. Perhaps the ticket is to have a sinking fund where we put money throughout the winter for just extra summer expenses. I mentioned that before because it seems like there's always something coming up, and we don't seem to be able to say, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that, and we're going to go ahead and put in my stickers for all of my expenses. I did go ahead and make myself a little cheat sheet here. I'm going to pull this out actually. You guys are going to get a little sneak peek here. You see that pattern across the top there? That is one of the patterns I'm going to be offering for my October printables. They're not quite available yet. I really underestimated how long it was going to take me to kind of get everything set and situated and ready. I'm hoping my October printables will be ready by the end of this week. I know it's a little bit later than I had hoped, but hopefully you guys are excited. So this is going to be one of the patterns. It's this autumnal leaf pattern, and then I also am doing a Halloween pattern for October, which you can see here, a little sneak peek of my weekly check-in, which I'm going to be starting this week. I'm just going to use this one that I've already printed out, even though it doesn't quite match September. It's fine, why waste it? I've got it. So I'm finalizing my designs. I'll have those printables available for you guys, the bundles as well as the individual sheets, hopefully by the end of this week, and I'll do a separate little announcement. But I already kind of went in, wrote out all my spending for the week, and categorized everything, so now we just have to put the stickers down. If you're not familiar with the way that I track my spending, I use a color coding system using stickers that I make for myself on my silhouette portrait and a calendar layout. So I realize I never made a key for this, probably because I kind of already know what all of the colors indicate, but maybe you guys don't. So let's really quickly go ahead and put a key in. I have all of my stickers here. I do make these myself. They are not available for sale, but if you go on to Etsy and you just search transaction tracking stickers or budget stickers, you'll find lots of options like this available. So I'm gonna start out, I guess, here just cause why not? So this green color is, actually, let me start at the bottom and work my way up. So this red color here is unbudgeted expenses. Anything that I don't budget for, that I don't plan ahead for, goes here under unbudgeted. So red, it's actually like a dark pink color, is unbudgeted. This light green color is for anything that falls under the miscellaneous category. I'm not really using these orange stickers right now. I was using those at one point in time. Well, actually, I guess I am. I use the orange stickers to write in anything that I budgeted for but doesn't fall into one of the other categories. So I guess I'll just list this as other expenses. This dark gray color is where I track my extra debt payments. Let's see, what else do we got here? This blue color is all of my bills for the month. Pink here is gas. The light purple is my personal spending. And then yellow, which I have right here, is food and then household expenses. So it's any eating out, it's groceries, and anything else that we kind of pick up at Walmart. I'm just going to write in food. I know what it means. So I believe that's all of my categories. Hopefully I didn't forget one. There's my little key all set up. And now we can start laying down my spending. So we're starting out with Tuesday. This is the first day of my week. My husband and I budget paycheck to paycheck. He gets paid every single week. So we are just looking at this first week here in September. These transactions that you see here are actually from my last paycheck in October. They just kind of rolled over onto this page. You can see there's been a lot of spending. This week is no exception. So the very first thing we started out with was an unbudgeted expense. While we were while we were at our camper over the Labor Day weekend, which I did post a little vlog. If you guys are interested in seeing that, I can link it in a card above. Fold this in half a little bit here and zoom you in just a tiny bit. I don't want to zoom in too much, just a little bit. We noticed that we had an infestation of yellow jackets in the axle of our camper. And my husband is a very handy man and he can take care of a lot of things, but when it comes to bees, he nopes out and says, we're calling the exterminator. So that's what we did. It was an unbudgeted expense. We didn't expect to have to deal with this, but sometimes things come up. We paid $225 to have the yellow jackets removed. Luckily, that seems to have done the trick. They all are gone. We were there over this last weekend and we did not see any bees. So that's good news. So that takes care of that. The other transaction we had on this day was our groceries, which if you have not seen it already, you will be seeing a grocery haul from that trip. I don't know if this video is going to go up first or if that one will. If it's already up, I will link it in a card above. If not, that'll be tomorrow's video most likely. We did a Walmart pickup order. This was the first day of school, so I sent my kiddo off to school, and then I had a little me day where I went to the gym and did a bunch of errands, and one of the things I did was pick up groceries. And that amount was $124.30. That was it for Tuesday, with the exception of some sinking funds, which I will get into at the end. I'll talk a little bit about what we spent from our sinking funds and how we overspent from our sinking funds. So on September 8th, we paid some bills. We had our boost and our camper payment come out. Those stickers are actually already here on Thursday. They weren't technically due until the 9th, but I went ahead and paid them on the 8th. It's fine. I don't get too caught up in semantics there. Boost came out at $120 and our camper payment came out at $200. So that has been logged and entered. The other thing we had on this Wednesday was an extra debt payment. I went ahead and made a $50 payment to our Lowe's card, which, as I mentioned, goes in this gray color. And that was exactly what I planned to send to Lowe's. So I love it when a plan comes together. That's Lowe's for $50. And then we also ordered a pizza this day, so that's going to come out of our food. Lots and lots of food spending. Again, somebody made a comment and said, it seems like no matter how much you put into groceries, you always spend it all. And they're absolutely right. It seems like that's always the case. If I budgeted $500, I'd probably find a way to budget $500. I budgeted $300 for groceries this week, and spoiler alert, we came in real close to that number. But we're not over, which is good news. We're over in some other categories, but not this one. So the pizza that we ordered came out to $31.56. And that was everything on Wednesday. Moving on, flipping over to Thursday, we took care of those bills. I'll go ahead and check them off so I know I paid them. The only other thing that happened on Thursday was an expense from our sinking funds. So this is a no spend day, which is pretty darn exciting. I'm aiming for 15 no spends in September. I don't know if we're gonna make it, but here's our first one of the month and I'm excited about it. I count a no spend day as a day that I don't spend from any of my like variable spending categories, my cash envelopes, my food, that sort of thing. So even though these bills are here, those don't count. If I pay a bill, I don't count that towards my no spend goal here. And those bills were paid on Wednesday anyway. Okay. September 10th, we had our second no spend of the week. I did spend money, but that came from sinking funds. That was planned. That does not count towards my no spend goal. So another exciting step towards meeting that goal. And then we had Saturday. This is the day that all the spending happened. My son had his very first soccer game of the season. His team did win 7-1. It was so exhilarating and exciting to watch. After the soccer game, we then headed up to our camper. So we had some spending in regards to post-soccer game celebrations and then also camping expenses. So I don't even think I'm going to have enough space on this day. I might have to put some of my stickers here on Friday, which will get confusing with the no spend sticker, but it's fine. So first up, after my son's soccer game, we were all starving, so we went to Taco Bell for lunch. Was myself, my mother-in-law, and our two sons that ate at Taco Bell, and it was a total of $27.73 for Taco Bell. We also went to Tim Hortons to get some celebration donuts, and my husband grabbed lunch from there because he's not a Taco Bell fan, which is crazy to me. He's the only person in the entire world that I know that doesn't like Taco Bell. So, Tim Hortons was a total of $17.34. And you'll notice that I am including the change here. Usually when I track my transactions, I don't include change. I just round up or down. But in the case of our food expenses, we left the food money in our bank account this week and just swiped a credit card. We're not doing food expenses right now in cash, so in that case, I deal with the change. When I'm dealing with cash, if I get any coins, I just drop them in a jar, but when it comes to this, I need exact numbers. Hopefully that makes sense. Alright, then we have Kroger, and I actually have two line items here for Kroger on my sheet. Just to make things easy, I'm going to combine them. This was a scenario where my husband went through the checkout line, got everything he needed paid, and then remembered something he forgot and had to go back through the line. So it's two transactions, but really it was just one trip. So let me add them together. It was $51.53 and $4.39, which my calculator says is $55.92. And that's Kroger. We hit up Kroger to grab a few things we needed at the campground, some potato chips, some ice, and then, $40 extra worth of stuff went in the cart, because that's how it happens when you go into a grocery store versus using like the pickup or delivery service, which I highly recommend, by the way. I have a link in my description box that'll get you $10 off your first order of $50 or more with the Walmart pickup or delivery. Highly recommend that. Use that coupon code. Seems like there's always impulse purchases when you go in store versus if you go online, order, and just pick it up. Less impulse. At least that's the case for me. Next up, we have Family, Farm, and Home. We stopped here because we needed pellets for my husband's pellet grill. And those came out to be $15.89, which we also took out of our food budget. Like I said, lots of food transactions. Doesn't matter what I budget for food, we always seem to spend it all. But it is what it is. So that's for $15.89. We also hit up a corner store right by our camper for some more ice for our coolers. And that was $9.79. And we have one more transaction here. So maybe I'll be able to make it fit. And that was gas. By the time we drove out to our campground, we were on empty. And we put $42 into our gas tank. And that filled it up. So that was good. At least that didn't come out to be too ridiculously high. Let's go ahead and squeeze that in. So yeah, I had 2 no-spend days, Thursday and Friday, but then we more than made up for it with transactions on Saturday. Alright, that's it. The only other thing then I had was on the 12th, which was Sunday, and that was a sinking fund transaction. So once again, we have a no spend. Now, I was over budget in that sinking fund, meaning I did not have money in that sinking fund and I spent from that category anyway. So I don't know what that means in terms of no spend. Like, it's definitely not a victory, but I didn't spend from any of the categories that I consider to be my spending categories for this no spend goal. So even though I didn't spend money, it still was kind of a fail because I used sinking funds this week that I didn't have money for, which means those are in the negative. That amount is sitting on a credit card right now, and I'm gonna have to kind of scramble to make up for it. So let me grab my sinking funds so I can show you guys what happened with that. Alright friends, so I pulled in my little notes here so that I can take a look. All of these in this orange color are things that I need to account for from my sinking funds. So starting out on September 7th, that was school picture day. That was $12 from our school sinking fund. So I'm just going to go to my school sinking fund, which does have $50 in there. So I need to make some change for myself and pull out the $12 from here so that I can get that put in the bank to cover that transaction. So that was on 9/7. These dates are a little bit out of order because I stuffed my sinking funds later in the week, and now we're backtracking to cover purchases I made before that, but that's kind of how I do it. I put everything on a credit card, and then at the end of the week, I just true everything up using the cash. So, school pictures. And we just got one 8x10 photo, spent $12. Those photo packages are so ridiculously expensive, and even like the smallest package that has multiple photos in it, we always end up with way too many pictures because we don't share physical pictures with family and friends. We do like digital sharing of them, so it just makes sense for us to spend as little as possible for the physical photos. So we spent $12, and we'll just go ahead and use the calculator here because it's too early to try to do mental math. 50 minus 12, I already know, is 38. There we go. And now I need to try to make some change. So, let me see quickly if I have enough change in one of these other envelopes to do it. Well, that's all 50s, so that's not going to work. This is the only issue with having cash for sinking funds. Sometimes I don't quite have change, and I gotta scramble. Especially when I go through and I do my bill consolidation to make my sinking fund envelopes less chunky. Then I discover, hey look, I need change and I don't have it. Larger bills there. So give me just a second to try to make some change and I will be right back. let's just make sure this is 50 now because I am so easily confused. 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay, and now we're going to take 38. So we're going to take a 20, a 10, a 5, and 3 ones, and that'll stay, and this other 12 will go into my wallet. There's a receipt. Into my bank envelope, so I know that I need to deposit that in the bank. There we go. So that's accurate. My card here is accurate. This can go back into our school envelope. $12 for school pictures has been taken care of, so I'm just going to go ahead and check that off my little notes page here. All right, next up is coming from my health envelope, or my medical envelope, I guess is what I called it. And this is where we have our first scenario where I spent money that I technically didn't have, because our medical envelope is completely empty. We haven't put anything in there in the past couple of weeks. So I made this purchase even though I didn't have any money in there, so this account's going to be in the negative. So on September 9th, we spent $57.74 at Parkoo. I bought glasses for my youngest son and I, backup pairs of glasses. They were running a sale, and I couldn't say no. It was something that was on my list of things to buy, and with the sale, I just jumped on it, and I will, over the course of September, put this money back in this account to cover it before any interest kicks in on that credit card. So that takes care of that. We also had another transaction on September 12th, so we went even further in the hole here. Our thermometer broke, and we are doing temperature screenings with Austin before school every single day. So we had to get a new thermometer, and while we were there, we stocked up on Tylenol and Advil because they are having shortages again, and there was only a couple bottles on the shelves. So we went ahead and grabbed those things just so that we would have them, and so that all comes out of our medical fund as well, which again, we did not have the money for, but you know, it was a scenario where if we didn't get it, we weren't going to, so. And we had to have the thermometer for temperature checks. So again, you know, we're in the hole a little bit here, but I'm not too worried about it because we will just over the course of the month put that money back, and as long as we don't have any other medical expenses, we'll be okay. If we have a scenario where we do have major medical expenses that happen and we don't have the cash for it, we can always take it out of our emergency fund as well, but I try really hard not to touch our emergency fund. I'd rather cash flow things and float myself for a couple of weeks if need be. So we are negative $127.36. So I need to keep that in mind. But that takes care of our medical situation. It's not ideal. Don't be like me. I don't recommend it, but you know, it's working out fine in this case. The only other transaction I have then happened on September 10th. David's Tea came out with their advent calendars, which I'm so excited about. If you watched my Vlogmas series last year, you saw me try a new holiday tea every single day in December. I'm so excited to do it again this year. So that's going to come out of our Christmas sinking fund. So it's definitely a Christmas tradition, and that was $50. Happened on the 10th? Is that right? It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. These days, I swear, are just flying by. Today is the 13th, so I guess it wasn't that long ago. It just seems like it was. Yeah, that was. Okay, so, David's Tea, $50. That's going to bring our Christmas sinking fund down to $8.95. So I'm going to take that $50 bill and deposit that in the bank to cover that transaction. 1, 2, 3, 354, 455, 556, 657, 758, 850, 70, 90, 95. Okay. I would like to count the cash whenever I take money out of a sinking fund just to make sure that I'm covered and I didn't make any mistakes. So that takes care of that. That can go back in my safe. This 50 will go into the bank to cover that transaction. When I make the deposit of this cash here, I can go ahead and pay that credit card for those transactions that happened. So that is a look at everything that I spent throughout the week. Today is Monday, so technically it has not ended yet. I'm going to go ahead and stick a no spend sticker in here because I don't anticipate spending any money today. The great thing about my stickers here is that I print them on removable matte paper, so if I do spend something, I can always go in and peel the sticker back up. These no spend stickers come from Caffeinated Kate Printables, by the way. I didn't make these ones. I purchased this file and printed them myself. Most of my stickers I make myself, but those are ones that I just happened to purchase. So that's it for my spending for the week. It was a little messy, a little hairy. We did have 4 no spend days, which is awesome, except when you look at all of this spending here and the unbudgeted expense of that pest control. That's something else I'm going to have to scramble and figure out how we're going to make that work with our budget, but that's future Jessie's problem. For now, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for coming along with me as I kind of got everything set and situated so that I can do my budget results for the week. That video will be up later this week, so be on the lookout. Make sure you're subscribed. You can check out my Etsy shop for all of my budget printables, October's printables. Hopefully it'll be available by the end of the week. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!